Hello and welcome to Prophetcast. We are the Nonprofits. Today is October 6, 2013. I'm your host, Steve Hayes. Co-hosting with me today is Kyra Donahue.
Hi.
Hey. Today's special guest is the lovely Amanda Hayes, which happens to be my wife.
Hi.
Yeah. Again, welcome to Prophetcast. You can visit our website at www.thenonprofits.com. Follow us on Twitter at Prophetcast. Check us out on Facebook by searching for the Nonprofits, as well as us on Google+. That's my reading to get started. And yeah, I like that, huh?
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. I do what I can. I'll close that guy down. So how you ladies doing tonight?
Doing well.
Good. I know it's kind of fun.
Your microphone is really distracting.
That's it, because it's way up there. I can put it
Yeah.
down here.
There you go.
Better.
That's a little better.
Still hear me just fine? Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Good. I would hate for you guys not to be able to hear me.
I don't think it's possible.
I think that's probably true. So.
Okay.
So sorry. I'm gonna attempt to get this shared out now that we're actually running live, and yeah. So, anyways, so Amanda, since this is your first time here on Prophetcast, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, geez, I didn't know. Okay.
Maybe if you watch Prophetcast a little bit more, you might know that that's what we do with new people.
I haven't seen two of them. But
Sleeping on the couch tonight?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're right.
Yeah. So whatever you didn't hear from Steve, my name is Amanda. I'm Steve's wife. We have 3 beautiful children. I am a senior at UW, and I am currently doing a little bit of work for Steve's mother's paper, some proofreading and working on the website. And I'm happy to be here.
Good. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you joined us tonight. David, stop freaking texting me.
Go in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He needs to get on the Q&A. I thought he was going to be here. I was really excited because last week I heard him quote Casper Baby Pants, and I was like, oh, I need to get in on that.
Yes. Yeah, no, David's out tonight. He's out driving somewhere. I can't remember. He told me, but I usually don't pay attention to what he says.
Doesn't surprise me. You love hearing yourself talk and nobody else.
I only have a co-host just because it makes me look like an asshole if I say I'm the host and only me and everybody else are guests, you know?
Okay.
Which well.
So Amanda, can you give us a little background on your thoughts on atheism and your personal views?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. I am newly outed. I haven't really felt comfortable putting it on my Facebook. I had it up there for a little while, and then I just was a little worried about how people that didn't know me very well would perceive me, so I took it off of there. But yeah, it's probably only been over the last year or two that I started questioning my faith, and after a lot of poking and prodding from Steve about why I believed what I did, I finally sat down and started thinking that perhaps it didn't really make sense. Plus, I had never really read the Bible cover to cover. Like most theists, I kind of chose what I thought was prudent to apply to my life. And after seeing everything that's in there, I kind of realized it's not something that I wanted to be following. And now that I have kids, it's really important that I communicate and show them what I think is the right path to take, and I don't think theism is what I want to convey to them. So yeah.
Awesome. I definitely did ask you lots of questions, and you've been there to go through all of my angry phase and angriness that came along with it. So it's definitely gone through quite a lot of interesting things, and here's quite a lot of interesting things coming from me, I know. So appreciate that she's here this evening.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Cool. So we have 3 viewers. Hello, viewers. And
hello, viewers.
I'm Q&A.
Nobody's asking any questions yet.
Yeah, I got Q&A up, so if anybody does want to ask some questions, feel free. We're more than happy to do kind of the back and forth with all our viewers, all you lovely viewers.
Oh, yeah. Just getting overloaded. Well, did you guys want to start discussing a topic? What?
You mean what? You mean like we're ready and planned and good to go? Something like that. Yeah.
I like structure. I think viewers like structure. So.
I think so too. Yeah. I've been listening to a lot more podcasts and writing a bunch of things down to try to get us going. Like you saw the little logo in the beginning. I was hoping to have some music going. Sorry guys, but I didn't. Didn't have that going. Unfortunately, parents said they're making dinner, and I couldn't pass that up. So
yeah, so you had to eat some ham.
Ham.
Everybody
likes ham.
Ham. Ham.
Yeah. So, Kyra, since during the pregame, we talked a little bit about some links and things that you found. Why don't you go ahead and let's talk about that in God We Trust one. Do you want to give us
yeah. So April of this coming year is the 150th anniversary of In God We Trust being minted onto our coins and becoming our, I guess, a national motto. And there is a Pennsylvania representative, Rick Ciccone. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He has a proposed legislation to require that all schools display the motto, whether it's a plaque or what have you, in the building. So,
wow.
Can discuss maybe how that violates separation of church and state, and how maybe we should look at changing the archaic mottos that we have in this country.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, considering we didn't have that motto until 1957, that was when that actually came into play. Before that, does anybody know what it was before?
It's the 150th anniversary.
That's what they claim.
Since it was on the coin.
Yeah.
It's been around on the coin. Yeah, you gotta. See, that's the key piece. It's been around on the coin because it was allowed to be around on the coin, and a lot of the stuff can be found on actually the treasury.
Steve, I think what you're talking about that came about in 1957 was adding it to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Maybe you're right.
One nation under God. Yeah, you should check into that. But I definitely.
No, it was signed. Nope, it was signed, established in 1956 by President D. Eisenhower, Dwight D. Eisenhower.
As the national motto
for our currency. Yep. Before that, does anybody know what it was before?
No.
I don't know. I'm gonna butcher this.
E pluribus unum.
Yeah. E pluribus unum. Well.
Out of many one.
Out of many one. Isn't it? I mean,
that makes more sense.
That should be the motto.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're kind of. Supposedly the whole country is a melting pot of different cultures and faiths, and to kind of put it as the one Christian God is kind of going against everything that the whole country stands for.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I thought that I had read somewhere that the country doesn't even subscribe to an official language because there are so many different types of people there. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of offensive to force this Christian God on people who come from all over and people who are currently immigrating from all over as well. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Right, I completely agree. And I mean, we're a secular nation, and a secular nation means we're neutral. We are neutral to religion. That you don't favor one. And I mean, what this dude is essentially, saying is he wants to basically favor a God, and basically saying if you don't believe in a God, then you're a second-class citizen kind of thing. You're
un-American.
Un-American, I guess, right? That's
that's brought up all the time.
And I think I think it's valid. I mean, if you think about it, I think Dave Silverman is fighting. I believe the American Atheists, are fighting a case about it right now, and I completely agree. I mean, we don't subscribe to any gods to say that, one nation under God. Well, there's a God of nature. No, I don't even subscribe to a God of nature. That's a stretch, and it's just religious flexing its power, and it's garbage. It's absolute garbage.
So just a little clarification. So In God We Trust has been on coins since 1864.
Correct.
Paper currency since 1957, and then it was
currency.
it was
Yeah.
made the national motto in 1956.
Correct.
Okay.
When we were going against them godless commie bastards.
Yes.
Oh, and that's
Whole reason.
right.
Brian and I were talking about that earlier, about that's why they added it to the Pledge of Allegiance, was because of
Yep.
Russia.
Yep, exactly. Because they didn't want to be like the commie, godless bastards. Yep. But no,
Well,
that's
that's
not.
kind of embarrassing for our
Isn't it?
own country. As a
I agree.
matter of fact, when we kind of I mean, if you look at, what is it, the Statue of Liberty, the new Colossus, is talking just about all the different types of people that come here. I just wonder what would happen when white people who believe in, you know, not just white people, but people who believe in the Christian God aren't the main culture of the country. I mean, what happens then, you know?
Well,
what if
yeah.
What if it's not as the most popular religion anymore? What happens then? Are we going to change it?
It's becoming that way, and I mean, Christianity's come kicking and screaming into the 19th century. They're not in the 21st century, but I mean, think about it. They've been in charge. They were in charge, or they had a lot of the, they had the majority for a long time, and they've changed. I mean, Christianity as a whole has changed. They've had to adapt. They've been forced to adapt. You can't kill witches and things of that nature. You can't, the homosexuality thing. They're starting to be forced into that. I mean, to be completely honest,
very slowly.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
They're
slowly
fighting against it.
Exactly, and yes, sure, they're changing the ways, and people will argue, well, that's religion changing, and they're learning too. It's like, yeah, but you're literally you're kicking and screaming, and you're still not there yet, and you still mistreat people. You're still the dominant majority, at least in America. And yeah, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of always hearing about religion. I mean, religion sucks into everything, and then when you try to bring it up, if you're not of a Christian faith, you're a bad guy, or
you're un-American.
Exactly, un-American,
Yeah,
or a lot of people get kicked out of their families. A lot of people, lose their jobs. I mean, we here in America, and a lot of the people in our group, in our Facebook group, the thing that I think that they forget when they come jumping into, when like David or I post and talk about some pretty heavy things that come out of faith and religion. A lot of people forget that, yeah, we're in Seattle at least, and we're very progressive here. But there's people in the Bible Belt that are not, and there are people online that if you actually go out and do some research on like a number of the people in our group, nobody here in particular, but a number of people don't go out and actually look and see what religion's actually doing in the nation, and where it's a lot more heavy in like in the Bible Belt, what happens. And people don't understand that when you come out as an atheist, you get kicked out. You lose your family, you lose community, you lose your job. You have nothing pretty much. There are even ministers and pastors. It's called the Clergy Project. For those who haven't checked that out, definitely go check those guys out. But it's called the Clergy Project, and they're actual ministers who are leaders of giant churches that can't come out because they'll lose everything they have. They don't believe anymore. They found, logic and reason. They found the light, but and they can't come out because they lose stuff. And a lot of people forget that, though we have it nice here, there's a lot of places that don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to do this and want to get the word out and try to talk more, is because it matters. It's important, and people, this helped me. This kind of thing helped me. And rant.
Well, I have to, going back to the article itself, I have to say that it did somehow miraculously become a law to get the national motto in schools. I have a vested interest against that, obviously, because I have very small children, and we, they don't know what to believe at this point. They go with what we believe, but we don't believe in God, and so when they come home, I'm going to have to explain to them why it says that in their school. And even though to us it seems silly, it's just another thing, like Santa Claus, that I have to explain. Like, well, some people believe in it, and we have to be respectful of that. But to have it in a public school, it's infuriating to me. That would really make me upset if my kids had to see that every day.
Yep.
After everything that I've tried to instill in them about reality and, falsity, that's
right.
Outrageous.
Absolutely, and I completely agree. And it's not that when Amanda says it's like, we teach them what it is we believe. I'm more than happy to talk to all my kids about religion and about what other people believe, and people are welcome to believe what they want. But we instill thought and logic, and we ask the kids, what do you think about this? Do you think people can walk on water? Do you think Hercules? Do you think people can lift giant stone and fight fly on Pegasus and shit like that? Like we talked about that, and they're like, no, it's just pretend. And kids know when you're not indoctrinating them, when you're not forcing them, when they're looking to you for as the main figure for when it comes to trust, and you're forcing that this is true, this is true, this is true, of course they're going to say, well, of course Jesus walked on water, and dude stayed inside of a whale for 3 days. What the fuck?
And school is a major source of socialization for children, and so if they're having all of the people at school telling them that this is true, and the only people who aren't are their parents when they come home, it's very likely that they could stop believing what we say and just follow the status quo at school.
And exactly.
Well, you told me that's already happening with some things. I mean, not related to that, but Danny comes home from school and
says words,
disagrees with something that you said because his teacher said something different.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even if he misunderstands something that his teacher says, because his teacher said it, it's law. He knows it, and so it already happened with preschool teacher. His preschool teacher was very religious, and I love her to death. She was an amazing teacher, and I totally appreciate everything she did for us. But she's very religious and very keen on saying God bless to everybody, and if he respects and adores and admires somebody like that, and they're telling him these things, then he's more likely to believe it.
Right. And well, I mean, we obviously try to have them question, but kids are less likely to question if it's. I mean,
from an adult,
authority, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I do want to say one thing too. One thing that I definitely jump in. I told Amanda about this and talked to her about it. But one thing that I am very adamant about is actually talking to them about hell. I want my kids to hear about hell from me first, or from us first, because I mean, if you think about it, the kids go to school and then their friends are like, you're going to hell. And they're like, what's hell? Oh, you haven't heard of hell? You're going to hell. You're going to go to a place and burn. And, that's what their, friends are going to tell them, that they're going to go to a place that burn in hell. And, especially if, I'm an atheist, they're going to hear that. And the friends are going to say the same thing. You're an atheist. You're going to go to hell. You're going to burn in fire. And that could scare a kid. And, I want them to understand that's the one thing I jump in and say that is not true. That's not real. I immediately, before they even go to school and hear that, I jump in immediately and talk to them about that, because I think that's really detrimental to, and unfortunately that's reality. That's what happens in schools. People teach their kids and enforce it as reality, and then they go and talk to other people about it, especially other kids, and it can hurt other kids. It can make a difference. It could even not talk to one another.
Kyra, I was going to ask you what you think. I mean, let's say again, by some something happens and this ends up becoming a law. I mean, what's the progression of this? What happens next after the schools accept this? I mean, are we going to have to start saying the Pledge of Allegiance at work every day? I mean,
I know. Insane. It's a scary thought. It
is.
I mean, I hope that, and here's the thing, I was reading the article and they were speculating that it's likely to pass because a lot of the politicians feel like it's just a stupid legislation that's not really going to affect anyone,
and it doesn't matter.
And it just doesn't matter, but they don't think about the ramifications.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Of it.
And they don't, because it's their belief. If I guarantee you that if it was, instead of in God we trust, if it was in Allah we trust, you can bet your ass they would be all over it, freaking out, and it would be a huge story, a huge issue. Or in No God We Trust, if we put anything like that, you can guarantee that you would hear Christians, and mostly Christians, flip out about it. But because it has to do with their belief, then they're fine. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's no big deal. But jump in and say something like take it out of schools. Look how many fights you hear from people taking things like the Ten Commandments out of schools and things that have been there for 60, 70 years. I mean, like I said, Christians are kicking and screaming about this kind of stuff, and it's against the law. It's unconstitutional.
Well, I think that's probably a good segue into the other topic we had about the lawsuit in Kansas.
Yes, that's right here in the notes, right over there.
Which, it's been pretty big in the news. I hope most people know about it already. But basically, the Kansas State Board of Education has adopted teaching evolution in schools, and this Citizens for Objective Public Education, COPE, who they claim to promote objectivity, think that by teaching evolution it is promoting atheism and violating the separation of church and state through that means.
I want to punch people. I'm not punch people, but it really drives me crazy when people say that it promotes atheism. We don't have any dogmas, no tenets, nothing. Atheism isn't anything that you can. It's not a belief. It's a lack of belief.
They also claim that the evolution in science is a religion at the same time. So,
you know, we were talking about this before the podcast even started, and science has proven it doesn't make any sense. It would be like saying math is a religion.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. It's been proven. I mean,
well,
they're not teaching the parts of science that are still unknown. They're teaching things that have been proven. Evolution has been proven. They're not talking about is there a God or not.
Right. And when they talk about,
we don't have concrete proof, but
and when they talk about proof, they're not talking in absolutes either.
No.
They're talking about based upon our current set of evidence and our current level of understanding is that evolution is true. With the change over time is true. It's a fact. That there's change. If you don't believe it, go take a look at the fossil records. There's transitional forms. If you haven't found them, you're not looking. There's lots of them.
And I did see one of my favorite things that I saw. I think it was on Jon Stewart. Neil deGrasse Tyson was on there, and I think Jon Stewart was saying something about people who don't believe in evolution and that part of science. And he had said, well, the good thing about science is that it's true whether you believe it or not. And I just really love that quote. I thought that was great.
It is. It's fantastic. Oh.
Do you want to address Candace's question?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit the select button here. Amanda, why don't you go? Oh, you can't read it. Kyra, why don't you go ahead and take this?
You want me to read what she said?
Yeah. As a host, I'll go ahead and let the co-host take the step up here.
So Candace, previous host, asked, so what will you guys do if In God We Trust is hung on banners in public schools and creationism is taught as science? What's your next move?
To Norway.
No.
That's my next move because I'm out.
Well, at that point, I mean, besides raising a stink at my public school and getting people involved, I mean, at that point, I think it's time to start donating money and time to our lobbyist groups who are going to take care of this.
To the American Atheists and people that actually do things.
Absolutely, because we need some ambassadors and people who are going to
Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Right, yeah.
Well, and we should move to do that now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
before it
becomes a problem. Yeah.
Yes, that is the whole one of the main reasons why I created the group in the first place and even want to do this is that it's already a problem, and if we just keep ignoring it, it's not going to go away. And things are changing now. Now is the time to get involved. Like things are kind of boiling, and we're starting to really, we're starting to be prominent. Atheists are starting to be a problem. We're starting to, really get up in people's faces and stop this kind of garbage, like this garbage in Kansas. And this same type of thing also happened in Texas, for anybody who hasn't heard. I can't find it, but they're doing the same things where it's teach the controversy is what they call it. And teach the controversy.
I told you it could happen.
Whoa, yeah. Yeah.
Quite the view.
Right.
I did want to just bring up a couple points on the whole Kansas thing that I guess one of the attorneys involved in the lawsuit is also one of the founders of Intelligent Design Network, which you should check out. They claim to seek an institutional objectivity to the origins of science.
Origins of science? The origins of science!
But apparently he said during the hearing that the state's job is simply to say to students, how life arises continues to be a scientific mystery, and there are competing ideas about it.
That, again, we talked about this already. That quote, how life arises continues to be a scientific mystery, that's what? No,
silly.
Not right. No. Oh, Hero.
Hello, Hero.
You, Hero.
He's come to join us. Yeah, no, it's I mean, in terms of, if you want to say scientific mystery, in terms of how did we originate here? Yes, you're right. Science still does not know. That doesn't mean therefore God. That doesn't mean you get a. That's called God of the gaps argument. You don't get to just stick God in. It's that we don't know, and we get to keep searching. That's the exciting thing about science, is that it's always searching. Even when we have the answers, like even if evolution is proven false, it's not going to be like, oh, look, it's completely false and the whole thing's trash. They'll probably find evidence that will modify it a little bit, but the fact is that science is always, it's self-correcting. It's always looking, and if you don't have an answer yet, we'll keep looking.
It's always evolving.
Yeah, it's amazing. Science is so fascinating.
Evolution.
I like that. Yeah, I think, and one of the things that I thought was interesting about the article too is it said seeks institutional objectivity in origin science, but isn't kind of the point of science to be objective to begin with, so I'm not sure why that needs to be rooted out as if it weren't already there.
Right. Well, yeah. It's... Yeah.
Well, they also said that that these new science standards seek to cause students to embrace a non-theistic worldview by leading very young children to ask ultimate questions about the cause and nature of life and the universe, and then use a variety of deceptive devices and methods that will lead them to answer the questions with only materialistic or atheistic explanations.
Divisive. That's what we call evidence, things that's demonstrable. That's because we don't pretend that magical sky daddies do things, and just because you don't have any evidence for it.
Well, and why, again, coming back to Amanda about teaching your children, why wouldn't you want them to question, ask questions, and
yeah,
that's the that's the thing.
I think that's a huge problem with parents is they parenting's a tough job, so it's not for me to judge everything, but I have noticed that parents, a lot of them are really concerned with obedience and not questioning authority, and I think that that's a huge problem, especially when it comes to something like religion, because I was kind of taught the same thing. My mom didn't have the answers, and so her answer to me was, it's God. Just trust him. Just trust him. Don't worry about the semantics. Don't worry about anything else. That's his word, and that's what we follow. And for anything, I want my kids to question everything. If I tell, even if I tell my kid, go clean your room, it doesn't bother me when he says, why? I don't want to. Why should I? Can I do it in 5 minutes? It's asking questions and negotiation. He wants to make sure I have a damn good reason for making him do it. So.
Right. Yeah, that just makes me think of Ashton, our 2.5-year-old. He is probably one of the most skeptical people I know. Like, it is so funny.
I can't believe it. Oh, my God.
He'll do things like, Danny will finish his chocolate milk, and he'll be like, I finished my chocolate milk, and he'll be like, let me see, Danny. Let me see.
Yeah, he's got to see it.
I don't believe you. Let me see that.
There's no love. It's so funny.
He'll, look inside. Yeah, sure enough, nothing there. All right.
All right, you finished it. I'll allow it.
Yep. Okay, you were telling the truth. Good. Yeah, it's just really funny. But yeah, I completely agree. A lot of parents I hear, when kids ask questions, they give them just answers just to shut them up instead of ask them back things like, what do you think? I don't know. Why? Yeah. Again, like Ashton asks, why is the sky blue? Excellent question. Why do you think the sky's blue? And Danny says the same thing. Makes his guesses, and it's awesome. And then if you don't know, you can, hey, I don't know, let's go find out. Go down to the internet and go take a look with your kid. It's, it's.
That's great. That's teaching them to think critically themselves.
Right, and figure it out.
Yes, and it's a very good way to buy time if you do not have the ultimate answer.
Shit.
Sometimes, I think I talked to you about it before. Danny asked some really existential questions that I really hadn't looked up how to answer, or even questions just about our culture and societal norms. I think the other day, kind of going off topic a little bit, but I think the other day he asked me why we always have to stand in line. Why do we always have to stand in a line? Why do we have to walk in lines? And that's like, societal norms and things like that. You don't think about exactly why. You just do it. And having to...
That's also a great question, too.
Yeah, exactly. Why do we do that? In other countries, they just push their way to the front. Why are we standing in line? So it's interesting because you really have to think about, exactly why you do it. Why do I do it? And I think that asking those questions, bringing it back to religion is important. That's what kind of led me to where I am, is like wait, why do I believe this? And what is it offering me? Is it doing me any good? I think that's really important.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because like kind of like you were saying earlier, is that most of the time, even like you're saying with your mom, they don't. You're not. It's not. Questioning is not promoted in religion, generally speaking. Generally it's God has a plan, like you were saying, or I think Kyrie, you were saying that, and that's what you accept, and that's how it is, and that's one of the things for me that drives me crazy about religion, and why I am so anti-religious, theist, if you, and not really. But anyways, is that it's when it comes to a foundation, it's a horrible foundation to start to where you're starting with something that doesn't have any evidence, that you're supposed to just have faith. Well, until you demonstrate faith is a good thing, and having faith that there's a God is a good thing, there's no reason that I'm going to have it. But you're not. I personally am trying to find as many truths as I can, believe in many true things as I can, and as little false things as I can, and having that strong foundation of having evidence and having good reasons for your beliefs, and also the idea of constantly questioning and thinking critically, always asking and questioning yourself and even the answers that you have, is what gets us, is what moves us forward. That's what promotes. That's kind of what science is based on. But that's what even I think, like for me, that's what drives me forward to learn things like I do about my about software development, as well as atheism, religion, things of that nature, is continuing to ask questions. And always ask questions and not necessarily be happy with the answers, but following proportion your beliefs to where the evidence takes you, not try to force the evidence to your beliefs, kind of thing. And I think that's one thing that religion does, is that it tries to give you false answers just to shut you up, like you do with little kids. What many parents do with little kids is just shut up. Here's your answer, accept it, don't ask any more questions. I'm done answering your questions. And I think maybe that might be because of that mentality. Maybe that's trickled down into parenting styles.
Definitely.
So, yet another way religion actually affects us. No, it doesn't.
No, it's true though. Amanda and I were talking about it before when she told me about Danny asking these questions, and we tried to think about how our parents handled those types of questions, and we couldn't really remember because I'm pretty sure
they didn't.
They either said I don't know or gave a really stupid response, and
yeah, absolutely.
I had to find out on my own.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I was always envious of those kids who just got to sit and ask and got intelligent answers from their parents about everything. Because I love my parents and they're great people. And I feel like they raised me pretty well, but they weren't as educated as some of the other kids that I knew, and I would have loved to be able to have those conversations like I'm looking forward to having with my kids.
Absolutely. Same here. I can't wait. My kids are going to be little anti-religious, little Bible quoters. They will.
Let's not go that far. Right?
Yeah. I've been
talk about that later.
Yeah, I've been trying to, as a silly thing, I always think it's kind of fun to say, instead of saying things like, oh my God, saying things like,
Merlin's beard.
Merlin's beard.
That's
It's my favorite one. It's my favorite one. Great Odin's raven.
Yes, by the beard of Zeus.
I've heard one that I heard earlier, somebody say is, almost in a threatening tone, to say, I swear to your God, if you say that one more time. I thought that was pretty good.
I was thinking, aside from swear words, any kind of exclamation like that they're all along the same lines. Like if you say, oh my God, and Jesus Christ, and what the hell, and holy shit, like those are all along the same lines. I just think that's interesting. You'd have to change up
cursing.
Everything that you say.
I find that I do still use them though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Well, and now they're not. They don't mean this. I mean, they don't necessarily mean the same thing now. It's just a social. They're just social words, They're just, oh my God, doesn't actually mean anything like it did.
God damn it, things like that.
Yep. Yeah, that kind of stuff's said all the time.
Tyra, we can start using the Wheel of Time ones. Blood and bloody
ashes.
Say flaming all the time. This is flaming ridiculous.
Flaming? Really? That's what they say?
Yeah, they say flaming. I love that.
Holy ice shards! Come on!
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, so
So,
what do we have next on the agenda here?
hey, that's not a very good segue.
Then the other topic is a little.
Rough.
It made me want to throw up when I read
Hey,
it.
it still talks about
honestly.
kids, so it's a fair segue, right? Kids and kids.
Oh.
Kids to kids.
Oh, are you really offended that I didn't segue very well? I'm sorry.
I am. Come
No.
on. This
I
is
told you.
Fine.
this is a professional show, and I expect
I
you to
like
be professional.
structure. I want to stay on topic.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to run a show here, okay? All right, I'm trying to provide entertainment to these 3 viewers. That's probably David, Candace. 4 viewers, David,
3?
Candace.
Oh, we have 4 now.
For now. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
I did want to interject, and that I'm hearing some hubbub across the hall. So if I do have to jet out because somebody's crying, I apologize. But with 3 children, and it's an hour and a half after bedtime, somebody's always crying. So
Gosh, and we're trying to do a podcast here.
I might have to mute it and run out really quick and put out a fire. Maybe
So
literally,
inconsiderate.
maybe not.
Gosh.
Sorry, we
It
don't
really
have a
is.
babysitter.
Oh,
so.
here, we got another question.
Do we? Oh, I don't
Do you
see
want to
it.
read this one, Steve?
Sure. That I shall. On the secular parenting topic, are you guys going to pretend that Santa Claus is real? If not, are you going to try and keep your kids from spilling the beans to other kids? Good question.
Who's this from?
This is from the Miss Candace, one of the fellow
Okay.
nonprofits, previous co-hosts.
That's an interesting question because I think, Steve, you and I had talked about
We have.
possibly opening the can of worms about Santa not being real before they get too old to, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a different reason for it. Obviously, we want we're changing our ideas of Christmas from basically from giving them presents and buying presents for them to buying a couple of presents, but basically having the kids choose a charity to donate to and then have them donate a bunch of money to charity. So rather than spending a bunch of money on them because they have enough toys as it is, we'll just get them a couple of things like some games that the kids might play, and
Obviously more Legos because everybody
Right.
needs more Legos.
Of course, we need Legos.
No, I think they really like art supplies and stuff, but
Anyways.
there's a lot more reasons than just that. I mean, obviously we don't want them. The fact that we felt like the fact that we don't believe in God was a little hypocritical by perpetuating this facade about Santa Claus and the Tooth
Yep.
Fairy and the Easter Bunny and all that. That seemed kind of hypocritical to me. So I just was thinking, maybe we could nip this in the bud before it becomes a problem, and we have to kind of backtrack and say, well, it was cute. We liked it,
Right. You're lying to your kids
so-
one way or another. Whether
Right, exactly. And for some kids it can be traumatic when they find out Santa Claus isn't real.
Right.
I
It
know
was
it kind
for
of was
me.
for me. Yeah,
It was for
absolutely.
me.
So
Well,
I
yeah, so it's
screamed
like-
at my mom about lying to me and threatened to run away. I was really upset.
and you know what?
Oh.
When I confronted my mom about it, because she never even told me, I heard it from some kids at school, she said, well, you just have to know that Santa Claus is real in your heart. And I was like, what a bunch of bullshit.
That is garbage.
That does not make me feel better at all.
How old were
but,
you?
I don't know. I was probably 7 or 8. I don't know, something like that. So.
Nice.
Yeah, but aside from just that, aside from it being hypocritical, the religious aspect of it is also, like Steve said, the toys. We have decided that we're going to be trying to move away from the consumption aspect of Christmas and the overindulgence and make it more about family and giving because, I don't want to sound pompous, but we can give a lot more than we currently are. We're in a place where we can give to people, which is better than a lot of people can say. And I think in order to really do all we can for people, we really wanted to get the kids involved as well. So we decided, in addition to just getting a few presents and giving our money to charity, that we have an allotted amount for each child, and we actually are going to sit down together and they get to choose which charity they want to give it to. So even though they're really young and it may seem kind of silly right now, there are still things that they care about, and we can give them a little bit of exposure, about whether it's, kids or animals or, any cause whatsoever. We're going to be talking to them about that, and they can choose that. So that's also going to be something.
Religion in school.
Yeah. something we can do together as a family that kind of, really helps with the spirit of giving for Christmas. And also, one kind of selfish reason that I was thinking.
Uh-oh.
That was cool.
Oh, no. What happened?
I have no idea, and I don't know if we can add her back. Let me try.
Okay.
Um,
She could just come sit next to you, maybe.
yeah, she could. She could totally. All right, I'll add her back there. Invitation. There we go. Welcome back, dear.
Wow. Okay, it just said that Hangouts has stopped working. Oh, there's stuck on a dirt face. That's nice. Okay. You can at least hear me, right?
Yeah.
Just go ahead and stare at my dirt face. It said Hangouts has stopped working, so next time I'll definitely have to be on it.
I can just see your profile picture, so it's not a dirt face.
Oh, good, because I'm looking at myself making a dirt face.
Yeah, you might need to
Anyway.
hide your video and reconnect it, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Oh.
Keep what you were saying.
Okay. Anyway, one selfish reason that I was thinking is when I buy my kids presents, all the credit goes to Santa Claus, and Steve and I work our asses off
Right?
to give our kids the best of everything. And honestly, it kind of pisses me off to think that I have to write, to Danny from Santa on all the presents, and I don't get any credit for getting those toys. Like,
Right.
That's messed up, I think that it also would help instill a sense of hard work, You have these things because Mommy and Daddy worked really hard to give them to you.
Right. Exactly. That's the
Daddy's at
important
work
thing.
all day. This is why you have these things. It's not Santa. It's not magic that got you these things. It's hard work and dedication.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to try and figure out this video thing. You guys carry on.
Sure. Well, I guess to answer the other half of it, am I going to try to? So no, I'm not going to pretend Santa Claus isn't, is real. And if try to keep it from spilling the beans, not really. Same thing. Or I'm not going to tell again, we're going to tell the kids that there are people that believe it, and you should let them. You don't need to go around telling everybody that they're wrong, and that that it's fake. But if somebody asks you if they think it's real, you can be honest. You don't need to hide it. You don't need to hide. You don't need to lie about it or be afraid just to be who you are. That's one thing that. Again, bringing this back into to my atheism is that I, one thing I've gathered from this is one thing that's emerged from all this so far is just being comfortable and being happy with who I am. Like, I'm no longer afraid to say that I'm an atheist, and I'm not afraid of my kids saying that Dad's an atheist or we're atheists, and having people actually ask questions and talk about it. That doesn't scare me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore. And to me, it makes me feel good. Oh, I saw a video for a second.
She was there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, am I not here anymore?
Nope. There you go.
There you are.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So cool.
We talked about that in my my women's atheist parents group as well, and one of the women had said essentially to tell your kids, that some people believe in it and it makes them feel good, and that's okay. It's okay to believe in that, and it does hurt people's feelings. It can hurt people's feelings if you if you tell them that it's not real, and that's a conversation that they need to have with their mom and dad, not with you. You can say politely, I don't believe in that, but it's not. God bless you. God bless you, sir.
Don't you?
You can tell
troll.
them. You can tell them that you don't believe in it, but try not to rain on their parade. It's just common politeness, I think.
Right. Don't pee on their boot. Hey, Kendrick, what's up, man? Thanks for coming back down. Awesome. Glad that you're watching us again. This is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and. Kendrick is he was one of the homies that talked with us last time we were on.
I think it was episode 3. No, episode 2.
Yeah,
Episode
I
2,
think so.
maybe.
Yeah. Kyra, why don't you go ahead and read from Kendrick here?
If you are teaching the kids that Santa is not real and hard work and dedication get you gifts, then why give presents on a given day such as the 25th? Give any time.
That's a fair question. Well, I mean, we do. I would say we do give any time, but the whole thing about the 25th is since when it comes to society, since society has this as some kind of big holiday, we have the day off, and it's it was, again, kind of a big holiday anyway. It's kind of like Amanda was saying, we choose to celebrate it as a day of family and just to give special gifts. It's not really that we're not, we're just going to say, this is for all of our hard work and all of your hard work, but this is this is a special gift from us. This is one day that we want to celebrate family, and this is something we want to do special for you, as well as we want you to do something special for other people, which is kind of the idea behind the giving, giving to charity. But it's not that, when we talk to them about giving gifts, it's in celebration, really. It's kind of like kind of like you do for a birthday. It'd be the same kind of thing, except that you don't really work hard, if you will. You were just born that day. So I guess it's kind of not the same thing, but that's kind of the way that I see it. I don't know, dear, how do you feel?
Well, I want to clarify if he's talking about giving gifts to our children or giving to the charities. Because if it's giving to the charities, that's something that I hadn't really considered before, but it is a really good idea to not just, give at Christmas, but to give throughout the year. And that is something that I really wanted to start the kids doing is volunteering and
that's. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was going to say. Is I don't think that just giving money is the only thing you can do. Kind of like we talked about in a previous podcast. Actually, it was the one about possibly making the nonprofits an actual nonprofit, which I still want to do. But you could also, kind of like you said, volunteering. One thing that we do in that atheist parenting group you're talking about is I wanted to set up and tried to set up, failed horribly. Oh crap! I got to set up the co-ed group thing. Oh damn, man, I have so much to do. Anyways, I wanted to set up a go to the parks and clean up, or even clean up on the side of the road kind of thing, and I wanted to do it with the name of the nonprofits. But that's also kind of the other thing that I think that we want to promote is that you should give back to your community, and you should try to take care of where you're at, because the only way it's going to ever get better is if you do something about it. So. But I think to go back to figure out what he was saying, I'm pretty sure Kendrick was asking about giving the kids presents.
Well, to be fair, those bastards get presents year-round.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Kind of the reason why we wanted to go back on Christmas anyways. Like, they do not go without on anything.
And not even just from you guys. Family,
right, exactly. Yes, they are fortunate to have a lot of people who love and care about them, and
Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, Jesus, all those people give them gifts.
Of course, yes.
What? So good question, Kendrick. And again, thanks for coming back
thank you for that.
And checking us out. Again, I know that we've said go to thenonprofits.com, and it's not exactly up yet. Sorry, but again, appreciate you coming back.
Do you at least link to YouTube and Facebook on the website? Just redirect or something?
No, there's nothing there.
You didn't put anything on Facebook about the podcast.
Oh, tonight? Oh, I didn't.
No. Or on Twitter.
Or on Twitter. Oh, damn! I gotta go to. Oh, I'm no good at Twitter. I like Twitter, but I'm no good at it. Oh, let me go to.
I could do Twitter.
You should. I'm not
gonna do it right now, but I could do it.
I was gonna say you should, and I was also, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I talked to you about it previously, Amanda, and I'll talk to you about Kyra while you're here, as well as on the cast. For anybody who's interested, mostly the nonprofits, other nonprofits, but anybody else who's interested in actually helping us get up and going, if you know any links or anything that you want to throw our way to help us out, you can email me, Steve at thenonprofits.com. You can email the show, Prophetcast at thenonprofits.com. Hit us up on Twitter, whatever. But I know I've got with 3 kids and work and other things, got a lot on my plate, and I'm trying as best I can to get this stuff going, and trying to be as prepared as we can for the Prophetcast and stuff. But it's difficult to get everything going. So if anybody wants to jump in and help, whether that be things just as simple as like sending us links, news articles, and things of interest, and things of I would say related to religion. We like religion, but science related, religious related, parenting related, things of that nature. Send us links, give us feedback, send us emails. Even provide content if you want to help us out with, again, opening show theme music. We can give you some credit and link to your website. Right?
It has to be better than the Atheist Experience. I'm sorry, but I think that
really?
It's so horribly corny. It's like
it is
such a bad
Won't you listen to reason?
Yeah, it's so bad.
Will you open your eyes? Right. Oh, I like it. All right, I like it.
So it has to be better than that. Send your samples. to us, and we'll let you know if you made the cut.
Right. That'd be awesome. So yeah, or or any ideas that you have for the show, any segments, things of that nature. If you have any skills in web development and things, I can always use some assistance there. And
computer hacking skills,
numchuck skills, things of that nature. Yeah.
Staff skills.
Boom.
Both staff.
But yeah, so like I said, if anybody wants to throw some assistance my way, that would be awesome. Yeah, so like I said, I'll just kind of throw that out there. Well, we're going. So we were talking about kids earlier, and I figured, why don't we talk about pedophilia a little bit, since we're talking about kids.
That was a beautiful segue.
You are.
It was.
So
You really. That was eloquent. Honestly.
Do what I can. I do what I can. I can't even find the link at the moment. I don't know where I'm at.
It's interesting that it's in the news again.
What is in the news? Why don't you go and talk to us about it? What is it that you're talking about?
I just have a synopsis up. I don't really have.
All right.
Kyra, you go ahead and spearhead this for me.
Hey! Why don't you let the host go and do that? Kyra, why don't you go ahead and take this?
Okay. Well, one of the talking points we discussed before the show was recently William Donahue, the president of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights, which religious and civil rights don't tend to always go together.
Yeah, no.
He was on an interview on CNN recently, and they were talking about Pope Francis's views on the LGBTQ community, and that kind of led to talk about the scandal with the priests, and it makes me sick even talking about this, but he apparently said that, or he did say that because most of the victims, he said 78% of the victims were post-pubescent teenagers, and therefore it was not considered coercion and more consensual sex because they were able to make that decision themselves. And he actually said the word in the English language describing this behavior is not pedophilia, it's called homosexuality.
Oh, God, I'm so tired of hearing that shit. Man, that is so, that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, let's look at it, let's look at the verbiage and kind of dissect it. I'd like to anyway. What exactly did he say, what is post-pubescent? What is the age range on that? Do you know?
I gotta look at the article again.
Okay. I guess I'm just wondering because...
12. It was 12, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he said that 12 was that cutoff age.
12 is the cutoff age?
Yeah, I thought he said anybody that was above 12. So it's 13 plus. 13 to 17, I believe, is the post-pubescent.
Iggy's moving around on the bed, and it's making me all shaky.
Silly dog.
Jerry-rigged webcam here. Okay, so I guess if it is 12, that's even worse because if you think about it by law, if a grown man has sex with a 13-year-old, it's statutory rape. That's not, that's not post-pubescent. That's not called consent. It's not consensual sex. That is statutory rape. So I'm not sure why it's considered just homosexuality for the Catholic world or whatever he's claiming, but that's not the case by law. So
right, and that's because he's claiming that to try to make in an attempt to push the blame, push the heat off of the Catholics, off the Catholicism and Christianity, and onto homosexuality,
deviancy, and onto the victims at the same time.
Exactly.